is what is masculine energy, feminine energy. First thing I want to say is it's not really related to your gender. As human beings, probably all creation, there is duality. So there are these extreme polarities, and in us, in gender, you have the male and female, but in the energy, you have the masculine and feminine. Sometimes it's referred to as yin and yang. In Eastern cultures, in yoga, for example, in hatha yoga, they always talk about the balance between the sun and the moon. So it's both these energies. When they are together, there is the whole, there is the oneness, there is the unity. But in this world that we live in, we have light and dark, and inside and outside, and all of these dualities. So we also have masculine energy, feminine energy, and within each person you have both. You have masculine energy and feminine energy, so you have the potential for both of them. And when you are a complete person, both your masculine and feminine energy are healthy and they are expressed, and you are able to be both of them at the same time, or to shift from one to the other when needed, depending on the situation. And this is wholeness. Now, what happens with us, and this is what I was talking about with shadow work before, is that as children, you are born into a body. That body might be male or might be female, and then depending on your culture, society, your religion, a bunch of factors, you are conditioned into a belief of how you should be, what kind of energy you should have, what kind of roles you should perform based on that. Okay, and so what happens is we express one side more and we suppress the other side more. So traditionally, if you are born as a male, you are taught to express masculine energy more and to suppress feminine energy more. This is not the ideal. The ideal is to be in balance. And as you grow and as you mature, a lot of cultures, a lot of societies, they have a lot of guidance on how to be in that balance between masculine and feminine. But I'm just talking, especially in the beginning, you are really focused on, masculine energy if you are male, and what does that mean to be masculine, and feminine energy if you are female, and what does it mean to be feminine, especially in traditional societies, and in the past. Masculine is when you talk about masculine energy, if you were to search it, it's like the sun. It's intense. It's doing, it's direct, it's goal-oriented, it's about outcome, it's giving, it's contributing, it's the cliche of provider, pursuer, protector. That is all masculine energy. Masculine is structure, it's discipline, it's container. Masculine is thinking. It's focused a lot more on the mind. It's focused a lot more on analysis, on prediction using the mind. Okay. Feminine is what's hidden, what's mysterious. It's around what's underneath, what's in between the lines. It's the subtleties, less direct. It's the fluidity, the flowing. Feminine is receiving, it's accepting, it's allowing, it's leaning back, it's receiving transmissions, receiving guidance, receiving intuition. It's sensation in your body, it's feeling, it's expression, it's creativity, it's enjoying the process, the journey, really engaging your body and your senses, feeling. So that is more about the feminine. And we need both, because in life you need both. You need to be able to give and to take, to receive, to allow, but also to do. You need high energy, you need fiery energy, you need grounded energy, you need stable energy, which is more masculine. But then you also need that airy energy for creativity, for envisioning, for getting in touch and transcending. You also need that water energy, for being fluid, for collaborating, for empathy, for just really feeling and sensing everything that is happening in your environment. Okay. They work together, you can say, with the feminine being the wild, fluid component, and maybe like the water, and then the masculine being that solid container that holds everything in place and allows that water to really, to have some freedom and to be and to express, but same time to feel safe and secure. Okay. um, Now, with modern societies, we find that more increasingly, more people are idolizing masculine energy, and you may, try to think, as I have been expressing all of that, if you are biased or you have some prejudgments about which is the better kind of energy. Society is favoring masculine energy, or at least it was. Now things are starting to shift recently, but it was favoring masculine energy and really diminishing the importance of feminine energy. And in fact, in some societies, it attaches shame and dishonor and fear and weakness and lots of these very negative emotions to feminine energy, and then it exalts masculine energy. It really puts masculine energy on a pedestal. Okay, so then you have children growing in these homes and in these cultures and in this society, and from a very young age they know that masculine energy is superior to feminine energy, and masculine energy is more useful than feminine energy, and masculine energy is safer than feminine energy, all of that. So the training and the conditioning is, let's all lean to masculine energy. And this is for men and women, and really a lot more in Western societies, or societies that have been influenced by the West. Okay. Eastern societies, especially in the past, they had a lot more of a balance and a lot more gender specific roles and you could say segregation. Anyway, so what you have is, let's talk about what happens to the boy and what happens to the girl. So the boy, he sees that masculine, he's a boy, so he believes that he should be in masculine energy, but masculine energy becomes something that is really high standards, high expectation, and it's very easy to disappoint. It's very easy not to measure up. Okay, and especially when that boy is still a child and he is comparing himself to masculine figures. Maybe his father is in masculine, maybe his mother is actually in masculine, maybe it's just the ideal of what the masculine is. And depending on how he is being raised, if the family is not really supporting him to grow and to gain more masculine experiences and encouraging him and trusting him to lead and to take responsibility and to deal with consequences and to make decisions and all of that, and to do things and to provide and to protect. If they're not doing that, if they are constantly criticizing him, if they're constantly telling him that, you're too young, or you're too small, or you're not good enough, or, why aren't you like so and so, or you're never going to be like so and so, then from a very young age, he gives up. I mean, he keeps trying because obviously there are some things that are biological that happen. So he is evolving and developing a little bit, but if he's not getting these experiences, he might give up on this idea and resign to the fact that I'm just not going to be good enough. Okay. Now, the other thing that happens is that parents, and especially in a lot of these societies, mothers end up being more in the masculine role. So the father can sometimes be absent, maybe because he's working or he is just hands off. And then the mother is super hands on. She's the one at home. She's running everything. She's planning. She's organizing. She's taking care of all of the mental load. She's taking care of all of the physical load. And so she is in masculine energy. She is nurturing. She is giving. She is doing. She's providing. She is all of that. Okay? And then the relationship between the boy and his mother is that the mother is in masculine. He is then in feminine, or in an underdeveloped masculine role. And if she's not helping him grow and she's not shifting those responsibilities to him, then he just continues to that, and then he grows up in an underdeveloped masculine. Okay? And he becomes more familiar with that. And when he's more familiar with that, number one, he has not developed his masculinity. He's not developed his skills. He doesn't have the right experiences, so he doesn't trust himself. He doesn't know how to take responsibility. He hasn't really had experience with making decisions and dealing with consequences and all of that. So he doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't believe in himself yet. And so there's an insecurity there. He already doesn't see himself as meeting the expectations of what masculine should be. Because again, masculine ideal is super high. And he's also used to a female doing everything for him. So he's actually used to female in masculine energy. And so when he looks for a partner, he will either look for a partner who is playing the role of his mother, so a mothering role. So she, again, will be masculine. He'll, get married to a woman who's in her masculine energy so that he can continue just where he's at. He's not really going to grow. Or, and this usually happens after he first meets someone that's like his mother and commits to her, that then he still has this really unfulfilled, unmet needs in his masculinity, and he needs to grow. And so he might actually shift towards his attention towards any kind of woman who will be very feminine, but maybe more of a victim, more of a damsel in distress, a lot weaker, so that she can rely on him and give him that feeling of being masculine, so he can provide her, protect her, and he starts to feel a little bit more secure. But guess what? Because his standards have become so low for the woman that he's with, he's still not growing, but at least he's getting that feeling, that illusion that he is now in masculinity. But once that woman that he's with, she becomes stronger, she's no longer a damsel in distress, then he becomes insecure again, and he goes back into feminine mode, and he's not growing anymore. Okay, so there creates an imbalance. So this is what happens with the boys. With the girls, again, she is still getting the same signals that feminine is shameful, weak, guilty, there are problems, that something can happen to her, that she can bring shame to her family, that her every move, that just being feminine is not going to be enough for her to be an independent person, to be able to rely on herself, to be able to get a good career, all of that. So from a very young age, she is already seeing that her feminine self is not good enough. So the boy, he's seeing that, oh, being masculine is good, but how am I going to meet that? But for the woman, for the girl, she sees, oh, feminine, this is bad, this is yucky, we need to suppress it, okay, and shift to masculine energy. So she learns to do that, and this can also be really pushed when the masculine energy figures in her life are unreliable or they are unsafe. Okay, that can also push a little girl to completely shun her feminine self, because that's where the weakness comes from, and to really try to hold on to anything that's masculine inside her and to protect herself with that masculine energy. Okay, either to protect herself from the masculines around her, or to meet her needs, because the masculine energy around her is not providing. So it's not providing, it's not protecting. So she has to wear that suit herself. And then she grows into it. And what happens is, because society really, like I said, elevates, exalts masculine energy, then she starts getting praise. She gets praise because whenever she does something that is more masculine, she gets more praise. Okay, she's, oh, you're so strong, you're so smart, look at you in math, look at you in science, look at you. And there's nothing wrong with women being, doing these things and excelling in these areas of life and in masculine areas, because like I said, we are both masculine and feminine. So this is all great, but because of that praise that she gets for anything that's in masculine, and because there's very, little praise that she would get for anything that's in feminine, so she leans more towards masculine, and she starts feeling very confident and very proud of herself, and she becomes more independent and more self-reliant. Okay, and she is her own leader, and she starts to feel, yes, and I'm free, and I make my own decisions, and I'm super responsible. So she has a lot more incentive to just keep going and becoming more and more masculine. So sometimes we find a masculine woman is more masculine than a man, because he was afraid of not measuring up, and he quits. All right, because he doesn't want to fail. But she already thinks, I'm already a failure because I'm not a man. I've already failed. So what can I do? So she just keeps going to build her masculine energy. Now, when she becomes like that, and by the way, that can sometimes be, again, modeled by her mother, because her mother might be in that masculine role. So she is just doing what she's seen, and so she also wants to be like her mother, and so she's the provider, she's the caretaker, she's the nurturer, she's the doer, she's the planner. She becomes the therapist for her friends. She becomes the coach. She becomes the one who fixes the situations, the problem solver. Then when it's time for her to come into a relationship, this is what might happen. Number one, when she is interested in a masculine man, so let's just say, like, she's thinking, all right, I've been in this masculine mode. Yeah, I really want to lean back now and be a woman and have someone take care of me. Well, she is so much in her masculine that a masculine man will not feel masculine when he's with her, and he wants to feel like that. Okay, so he's thinking, no, I'm looking for someone who is more feminine to create that polarity. I don't want another masculine person. She is too independent for me, because she doesn't need him. She doesn't need him. Okay, which is, it's good not to need someone, but in a relationship, we want to feel like there's something that glues us. So codependency is not good, but a little bit of interdependence is good. So feeling that someone completely doesn't need you, and they're better off on their own, then what's the point of being in a relationship with them? So this is what happens. So then sometimes she doesn't even find that she can attract the right kind of masculine man, because she's already too masculine. Okay, and then let's just say that she does attract a masculine man, and now there's a masculine in her life. She does not feel safe, because she doesn't know how to really, the only way she knows how to protect herself, to protect her feminine, is to lock her feminine up and to push away any threatening masculine. So that's what she's been doing. Now she doesn't know how to allow someone in without feeling threatened and very vulnerable. Okay, she doesn't really have those boundaries. Her boundaries, her ideas of boundaries, was pushing people away or avoiding them. Okay, avoiding that side of her. But she doesn't know how to allow that feminine part of her to come out and still feel safe. So this is something that she has to work on. So she doesn't feel safe, so she keeps pushing her partner away. She doesn't give him the trust that he wants. She doesn't give him she doesn't allow him to play that leadership role that he wants to play. She doesn't allow him to really be in his masculine, and so it doesn't work out for that way. But let's just say that they do decide to get together, and now she's in her masculine and he's in his masculine. So what he will do is, and this is something that happens between men in groups. You have a group of like 4 or 5 men, they're together. One of them becomes, the alpha male. One of them becomes leader. And I don't know, they do like a bunch of things, but they decide. They all decide. You find it with like apes as well. And then this one male, he is the leader now. So now you have this masculine energy woman, this masculine energy man, and they are in that relationship together. And guess what? He wants to be the alpha male. And so if she's not in her feminine, so now he's going to try to dominate her, try to overpower her masculine, weakening her masculine. Undermining her masculine. So it really brings this like competitive nature, and there isn't that polarity. There isn't that polarity anymore. Okay, he wants to become her boss, and she doesn't want him to be her boss because it doesn't really feel safe. Okay, so everything that he does makes her feel less safe for her feminine to come out. So that causes problems. Alternative to all of that is what this woman might do is be attracted to a feminine natured man, a feminine man who is, doesn't feel threatening to her at all, doesn't feel threatening, and she doesn't really have to worry about trusting him because she trusts herself. And so if she is with that feminine energy man, she is the boss, she is the leader, she is taking on, that role as she was. But then with time, she starts to build resentment towards him because she feels overloaded. Again, remember, her feminine is still locked up inside her. Her feminine energy is still not being expressed, and it is desperate to be expressed. And now you have like years and years have passed, and the feminine energy wants to be expressed, right? And she's suppressing it. So she starts feeling like, I don't need you, and now you're a load on me, and I have to take care of you, and I have to do this and this, and I don't want that. Okay, so she's not fulfilled. And because she's expressing resentment, he's not fulfilled, and he's hearing the same voices of when he was a child, that when they were telling him, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. So again, he becomes even less and less secure. Okay, and she becomes more and more resentful. They might still have an attraction between them, like a physical attraction, because of that polarity. They might still have that glue, because there is a dependence, since one of them is feminine energy and the other is masculine energy, but both of them are unfulfilled. Okay, and they are heading towards a crisis in their relationship, because the more she's unfulfilled, so she's desperately looking for that masculine, for her savior. Her partner is not her savior. He's not, right? In her eyes, she doesn't feel like that. Her feminine doesn't feel like she found her savior, and he is desperately waiting to feel like fully masculine, and she's not allowing that. So he has this unmet need, and subconsciously he will look for ways, again, either to diminish her, to start feeling like he is good enough, or to find someone else to meet that need for him. Okay, and I find it a lot with my clients as well, that the female will then, she's playing that masculine role in her primary relationship, but then she finds someone else. It could be like her boss at work, for example, or a colleague or something, who she looks up to, and she can feel completely relaxed and safe because she's in that feminine energy role with him. And also because it's not really a relationship and she's not that close, she feels like safe enough. She feels safe enough. Okay, so this is the problems that we can find ourselves in based on the kind of energy that we are in from a young age and why we are in that energy. Now, the recommendation that I would, when I'm working with someone on their energies, first, we're working on two different things. Your energy within yourself. So balancing both your masculine and feminine energy within you, because you are whole. That means anything that has been suppressed, anything that's in your shadow, anything that you denied about yourself, you bring it out. You bring it out, you embrace it, you practice it, you lean into it, you do things with your how you eat, you do things with how you move, you do things with how you speak, you do things with the kinds of activities that you do to regain that balance, because you on your own, you are whole. You are whole. It might not, be super fulfilling for a lot of people, because we are created to be in communities and all of that, but you are whole. You have both masculine and feminine, and we are all working on developing that and elevating that until you achieve that inner union within. Okay? So that's the first thing that we work on. But if you are already in a relationship, or if you're also dating, then we also work on how to lean into one of those energies when you are in that relationship, so that you create a polarity with your partner, and you can create that attraction, so that the two of you together become whole, which means you are leaning into one. So they say you lean into the feminine to attract a masculine, so that when you are together, you are both feminine and masculine as a unit. Okay? And this is why some people say, this person completes me, because then you feel like that person completed you, but you are whole on your own. You are actually complete on your own when you are doing the work, and when you are, bringing all of those shadow aspects into the light, and you're integrating yourself. You are whole. But even when you are at that point, we play roles now in society and with that other person, so I can have my needs met by someone else. Even if I can meet them myself, it's nice to meet them by someone else, and to be able to meet that person's needs myself. I want to lean into one of those energies. So I might have loss of masculine energy, but I'm going to keep my masculine energy at work. But when I am home, I'm going to lean into my feminine energy, because this is what my partner, what my partner needs to be in his masculine energy, which fulfills his needs. Okay? And the recommendation is, if you are female, then when you are in a relationship, be more around 70% feminine energy, 30% masculine energy. And if you are male, then be 70% masculine energy, 30% feminine energy. So you're not completely giving it up. We need both. Okay? You can't always be working without resting, for example. You can't always be resting without moving your body and re-energizing your body, for example. That doesn't work. So we need both. Okay? But to maintain that polarity, to have that glue, to have, that feeling of someone completing me, and I need them and they need me, not in a codependent way, in an interdependent way, then it's good to have that that polarity maintained. So we work on that as well. Okay? If this video has resonated with you, then tune in, because in the future I'm going to talk about some embodiment and other practices that you can do to lean more into your feminine, to lean more into your masculine, or to experience a balance within you.